Hey everybody, it's the Fricken Film Critic here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my list of my favorite movies of 2012. I happen to see 69 movies again this year. I saw that same amount of movies last year, which is weird because it's also my favorite number and my favorite position. This is the same joke I made last year too, so let's just roll with it. If you're wondering what those movies were, here they are. There we go, wow, beautiful, beautiful list. So let's start this list off right with number 10. Holy Motors is a film that was made to be admired by anyone pursuing a major in film and anyone who happens to enjoy telling people their interpretation of a movie. First off, fuck those people, and well, I guess fuck me too, because I do that nearly every week. But Holy Motors has so much originality and weirdness embedded within it that it's almost hard not to love, at least in my opinion. Some, like myself, saw it as a reflection of how much a person can give of themselves to their profession, in this case acting, and the mysticism behind said profession. It's both beautiful and sad in the way that you get to see how much an actor can give of themselves, their personality, their time, and hard work, and so much to the point that they eventually get lost in the role that they're playing. And I thought that interpretation was expertly conveyed through the performance by Dennis Levant and the beautiful direction that this movie had. I won't say anything else because I'm going to try and be as vague as the trailer was and simply tell you that this movie is awesome because it's weird. Which tends to be how my brain works. I register anything weird as being awesome. And in this case, Holy Motors was weird and awesome. Numero 9, or 9. And no, Daniel Day-Lewis, you can't come out and sing. Django Unchained. I'm just kidding, the D is silent. This is one badass movie filled with well-written dialogue, amazing action sequences, and an excessive using of the word I'm just kidding. I know better. That's why I cut myself off from finishing that word. Part satire on the spaghetti western genre and part classic Tarantino movie. Some people saw this as being evidence of the film's tonal inconsistency, but I honestly just saw it as something that the film used to its benefit, and tremendously, might I add. Those two mesh together so well, and honestly, I don't know what isn't enjoyable about seeing Jamie Foxx as the titular character Django teaming up with Christoph Waltz and killing shitty people. I'm not really sure if there's any subtext behind it. I didn't pick up on anything, but hey, if it's enjoyable, and that's what Django was for me. Number 8. Yo, that would have been more appropriate for number 9. The Cabin in the Woods is nuts! I can't say a thing about it other than the fact that it's not only the greatest horror film ever made, it is also the greatest film that focuses on the deconstruction of a genre. Everything about it is gold. The last 40 minutes of the film or so will leave you mind blown because of all the shit that goes down that is just insanely awesome. It's the kind of thing that is going to make you want Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard, the writers and directors of the film, continue to make movies forever and ever and ever. Little reference to The Shining there. Horror reference? No? Okay. Number 7. Killer Joe is one fucked up movie that I love so much. It's about a trailer park family that hires a detective who's also a part-time assassin, played by Matthew McConaughey, to kill someone because they believe one of their family members is the primary beneficiary on that person's life insurance policy. I don't want to go too deeply into it because a lot of the film's brilliance derives from the amazing performance given by Matthew McConaughey, who could not have been more terrifying. Seeing his tactics and seeing the film's tension build with each passing minute is a crowning cinematic achievement in itself, and deserves to be praised to the high heavens. Also fried chicken. Number 6. One of the most original movies to come out this year, and in my opinion also one of the more enjoyable movies, Looper. The thing I admire about this movie is how it uses time travel as more of a plot device and not necessarily the film's main focus, which, by the way, I saw as being ultimately about how useless violence is. The film follows an assassin, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I don't know why I pointed to myself, who kills people from the future, who eventually not only learns about the futility of violence, but also how selfish the act of murder is. So much so that he even goes out of his way to end up protecting a family that lives on a farm. While some people might complain that the film slows down once it gets to the farm family, I personally saw it as a way of showing that Looper was more of a contemplative and even touching film as opposed to a hardcore sci-fi action. And I like that. Go see it for yourself, yo. Number 5. Where's the trigger? Ah! The epic conclusion to the Dark Knight trilogy, regardless of its flaws, is a fucking amazing movie. It's got everything you need in the Batman movie. Batman, an awesome villain, in this case Bane, who is played by a terrifying Tom Hardy using a Sean Connery impression, action, and Batman screaming, "Where's the trigger?" It's very much just worthy not only in terms of superhero movies, but movies in general. Director Christopher Nolan has made a movie that feels so grand in scale and set it in a universe that feels so expansive that it's almost hard to not appreciate. It's a familiar arc, one that we've seen previously used in Batman Begins, and some people might have seen that as a flaw, but you know what they end up doing is they end up using familiar themes from Batman Begins and The Dark Knight in order to create this epic conclusion to the Batman arc as a whole, not just his original arc from Batman Begins.
Number 4.
It's my 12-year-old voice. Moonrise Kingdom is a sweet old movie that is done so well and shot with so much care by a man who clearly has a distinct eye for detail and precision, Wes Anderson, that will leave you feeling exasperated by the end of it because of how much hard work and time that was probably put into it. You know, we get so many movies that come out every year that are just so bland, but every now and then we'll get real gems with real characters and real emotion behind them, like Moonrise Kingdom. It follows two kids, Sam and Susie, who decide to run away together and express their loves towards one another. The feelings that they express towards one another feel so genuine and real in the way that they tend to reflect the childlike tendency to not only rebel, but to act on impulse at all times. It makes you reminisce of a time in which you felt the desire to be more impulsive and become a vessel to allow your heart to live vicariously through you. I know, I'm just so poetic and smart and bright, you know. A whole shebang. Wes Anderson, with the help of his amazing cinematographer and amazing performances given by Bill Murray, Frances McDormand, Bruce Willis, and the two kids whose names I'm forgetting, which is shitty of me to do, but that's how it is, but they are amazing as well. And together, they all made one of the best movies to come out this year, and I could not have loved it any more than I did. Number 3. Silver Linings Playbook. This is one of my favorite movies of the year simply because of how good it makes me feel. Just every time I see it, I end up feeling happy. It's a heartwarming movie, but it's a heartwarming movie that isn't afraid to delve into the dark psyche of anyone struggling with a mental illness. Bradley Cooper plays the man whose psyche we delve into most, and we witness his methods used to try and become a better person, and in some ways, I guess, fix his illness. He kind of does so by meeting Jennifer Lawrence, who is just as crazy, if not more so, and balancing his crazy with her crazy, and in turn creating this sort of symbiotic relationship in which the two try and find a silver lining in most everything. While their craziness at first comes off as overbearing, it eventually ends up working to the film's benefit because we end up finding more about these characters and feel more sympathy for them. It's such a sweet movie, which is what I'm trying to say, because we get to know these characters so well, and we end up caring about them so much, and it's just so sweet.
Number 2.
No, it's not Prometheus. It's Zero Dark 30, another movie that is kind of a commentary on violence, but only in the sense that it questions the morality behind it in the film's final frame, which, by the way, comes in only after 2 hours and 40 minutes of mesmerizing cinematography and phenomenal performances by an all-star cast. Director Catherine Bigelow created this impressive piece of work that chooses to focus on the tactics used to find the infamous terrorist Osama bin Laden and questions the morality behind the motives for it. The film looks beautiful and features a performance by Jessica Chastain that is so powerful that it in turn makes you feel as if you were on this 10-year manhunt with her that is almost as questionable as the war on terror itself. Number 1. The Master. The Master is a sad, sad movie about a sad, sad man, played by the ever-so-talented Joaquin Phoenix, whose performance alone is reason enough to love this movie. Director Paul Thomas Anderson goes for gold with this one, and I'm not speaking of gold in terms of the literal sense because there is no way in hell that a movie this strange could win an Oscar. I'm speaking in terms of the lengths that PTA went to create this masterpiece. Each shot is more hypnotic than the last, as they only serve to further accentuate this idea that the film's central character, Joaquin Phoenix, is a lonely individual who will go to tremendous lengths to try and feel as if he belongs somewhere. It's why his character ends up feeling this inclination to stay loyal towards Philip Seymour Hoffman's character and his organization. PTA conveys this idea by creating a character that is so well developed and so interesting and crazy, but hard to not feel sympathy towards, regardless of how weird of a person he actually is. It's just such an interesting and original film that I loved so much, and I really still can't figure out why I loved it so much, other than the fact that it's so goddamn good. You know, the performances are amazing, the cinematography is amazing. I really don't mind its 2.5 hour length. It kind of flies by for me. It's just all so well done and so well put together. It is a masterpiece by all means. I know there are tons of people that aren't going to enjoy this movie. Some people say that it's extremely slow, they think it's aimless, but I thought it was beautiful, and I thought that the last shot of this film is so haunting and so, oh my god, it's gonna blow you away if you're into this kind of stuff. It's really good. I'd call it a masterpiece. Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot to tell you all. I actually live in space, don't live on Earth, never have. what I did before whenever I shot inside a bathroom. I have a bathroom here. But everything else is all green screened and special effected. I have tons of special effects. I'm also a genius. I was born and raised in space, and as you can see, this is my spacecraft. These are all my buttons, and I usually sit here most of the time. There's a movies button here. I got a little "you got me" button. But now it's time for me to do what I've been wanting to do for a very long time, which is obliterate every other movie critic on YouTube and make me number one by pressing this button that says "ha ha ha." Beep. Now we can see them all go brain dead.